stretch of desert highway in the southwest that truckers talk about in a very specific way. Not with fear exactly, more like respect. The kind of respect you give something you don't fully understand, but you've learned not to test. Tonight we're covering 3 true accounts, all connected by the same thread. People alone at night, on empty roads or in isolated homes, who encountered something that moved wrong, watched too long, or knew things it shouldn't have known. Separate people, separate states, but when you line the details up side by side, they start to sound less like separate stories and more like the same thing, showing up again and again. If you've ever felt like something was watching you a little too long in the dark, comment below. Let's get into it. Story 1. The Highway Runner. This comes from a long-haul truck driver named Mateo. Mid-40s, been driving commercial freight for almost 20 years, the kind of guy who's seen every strange thing a highway can throw at you. Nothing rattles him, or at least nothing did before this. He runs a regular freight route through a long stretch of New Mexico desert, mostly at night. This particular stretch is flat, empty, no real lights for almost 40 miles once you're off the interstate. He's done that exact route more times than he can count, which is part of why this story sticks with him, because he knows what normal looks like out there, and this was very much not normal. It's close to 2 a.m., cruising at a steady 60, radio down low, when his high beams catch movement in the brush off to the right. At first, he assumes it's an animal near the road, except it doesn't behave like an animal. It's running, matching his speed easily, without any visible strain. And here's the detail he keeps coming back to. It was upright, 2 legs, moving with a long, loping stride that covered ground faster than it should have been able to. He slowed down, telling himself his eyes were playing tricks. When he slowed down, it slowed down too, not falling behind, matching him exactly, like it was watching his taillights and adjusting in real time. He sped back up to test it, and it kept pace without any visible effort. That's when the fear really set in. Not the sighting itself, but the realization that whatever this was had complete control over its speed relative to his. This went on for almost 2 full miles. Then, without warning, it cut sharply toward the road, angling in like it was about to cross directly in front of the cab. Right as his headlights swept fully across it, he caught a look at its face. Almost human, but wrong. The proportions were off. The head sat slightly too far back on the shoulders. It lasted less than a second before it dropped back into the dark and vanished from his mirrors entirely. He believes it was testing whether it could cut in front of him, gauging the timing, and pulled back at the last possible moment. He floored it after that, and once he had signal again, got on his CB radio, half expecting the other drivers to tell him he was seeing things. Instead, 2 other drivers came back on the same frequency that night, and both said almost immediately, "You saw it too." Both had separately encountered something matching that same description on that exact stretch of highway. Upright, fast, pacing their vehicles at night, never quite crossing the road. One had seen it almost a year earlier. The third had once stopped his truck, thinking it was a hitchhiker in trouble, and the thing had simply turned and looked directly at him through the windshield before disappearing. Mateo still runs that route, but he built one rule into his routine that he never breaks. He does not stop for anything on that stretch after midnight. He calls it in on the radio and keeps driving, every single time. Story 2. The Hitchhiker Who Wasn't. This account comes from a woman named Renee, driving alone late at night, taking a 2-lane highway shortcut across a stretch of high desert plateau to save almost an hour compared to the interstate route. About 40 minutes into the shortcut, headlights catch a figure standing at the edge of the road, thumb out like a hitchhiker. Renee's first instinct was sympathy. Nobody should be stranded out here at night. But she doesn't stop, almost entirely because of a strange detail she noticed as she got closer. The figure's posture was slightly wrong, too still, too perfectly upright, like someone standing at attention rather than someone tired and waiting for a ride. She slowed down out of instinct, not intending to stop, just processing what she was seeing, and that's when the figure's head turned to track her car, smoothly, without the shoulders moving at all. That detail convinced her something was deeply wrong, faster than almost anything else could have. She sped past without stopping, and in her rearview mirror, the figure didn't wave, didn't call out. It simply began walking at a completely normal human pace, directly down the center of the road behind her. Not running, not trying to catch up, just occupying the road behind her, like it wanted her to see it in the mirror for as long as possible. She kept checking every few seconds, and every single time it was exactly the same distance behind her, walking at the same pace, despite her maintaining highway speed the entire time. Basic physics says a walking figure cannot maintain a consistent following distance behind a car doing 65 miles an hour. And yet, every time she checked, there it was. Same distance, same unhurried pace. It's only when she finally crested a hill and lost line of sight for a few seconds that it was gone completely from the mirror the next time she checked. She didn't stop until she reached a gas station almost 25 minutes later, shaking too badly to pump her own gas at first. She told the attendant what happened, and he, an older man who'd worked that station for years, didn't seem surprised at all. He told her, calmly, that hitchhikers on that stretch of road after midnight are something locals specifically warn visitors about, and that the correct response is exactly what she'd done. Never slow down enough to get a good look, and never, under any circumstances, stop. He said only that some things test you by looking like something you'd naturally want to help, and that your instinct to help is exactly what it's counting on. Renee still drives that shortcut sometimes, but only in daylight now, no exceptions. Story 3. The night the power went out. This final account comes from a family, a husband and wife, David and Marisol, living on an isolated homestead property bordering open-range land. It's a summer night, and their power goes out across the whole property. What's unusual is that within a few minutes of the power going out, their dog, normally calm, starts a continuous low growl aimed at the back door, refusing to move from that spot. David grabs a flashlight to check the breaker box outside, and as he steps onto the back porch, Marisol watches through the window as something crosses the edge of their property line, moving on all fours before rising smoothly onto two legs. David doesn't see it directly at first. He's focused on the breaker box, but Marisol bangs on the window to warn him, and he turns just in time to catch it standing at the tree line, motionless, watching the house. It held his gaze for several seconds before turning and walking away, unhurried. David gets back inside immediately, and for the rest of that night, with the power still out, they hear something testing the perimeter of the house itself. Not aggressive pounding, but slow, deliberate contact against the exterior walls, moving methodically from one side of the house to the other, pausing at each window and each door for several seconds before moving to the next. It took almost 45 minutes to make a full circuit of the house, and it never tried to force anything, never broke a window, never rattled a door handle hard enough to threaten the lock. Just slow, patient testing, like it had all night and no urgency at all. Marisol says they sat together in the center of the house, away from every window, until the power came back on around 4 a.m., and the moment the lights came back, the sounds outside stopped completely, all at once, mid-circuit, as though whatever it was simply chose to leave the instant the house was lit again. In the morning, David walked the full perimeter of the house and found faint marks at several points along the exterior walls, places where something had rested against the wall for an extended period, testing weight and structure. And near the tree line where Marisol first saw it, oversized bipedal prints with an unnaturally long stride. David and Marisol installed motion-activated lighting around the entire property within the week, and they say they've never had another incident since, though they're both quick to say they don't take that as proof it's gone for good, just that whatever kept it away that night was exactly the thing they've made sure never fails again: light. 3 stories tonight, 3 different states, and the same pattern showing up again and again. Something that tests, that watches, that paces and circles and waits, but pulls back the moment it's met with light or refusal to engage. Whether you take these as literal encounters or as folklore shaping how people interpret strange things in the dark, The consistency across completely unconnected people is what makes stories like these stick with people long after the video ends. If you're ever driving a remote road at night or hear something testing the edges of your property after dark, don't stop, don't linger with your eyes, and get to the light as quickly and calmly as you safely can. Let me know in the comments which of these 3 stories affected you the most. And if you've got your own account of something that watched a little too long from the edge of the dark, send it in. We read every submission. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and if you're driving anywhere remote tonight, don't stop for anything you don't fully recognize. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week.